Hello, and thank you for coming to our poster session today. We're excited to present to you Connecting, Collaborating, and Caring, Southern Region 4-H Volunteers Supporting One Another During COVID-19. This poster is being brought today by Megan Franks, Hope Bragg, Chad Proudfoot, Ashley Burns, Carrie Grandy Hobbs, and all of the volunteer specialists from the Southern Region. To get started, we'll tell you a little bit about the background of our project. So the goals and objectives of this collaborative project came about because the Southern Region volunteer specialists noted that volunteers had been reporting and experiencing a loss of connections due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which could negatively impact volunteer retention rates. Research has shown that informal social networks, Barnes and Sharp 2009, and increased program communication, Bauer and Lim 2019, are effective strategies for increasing volunteer engagement. When asking volunteers what part of 4-H was that they missed the most, the top answers that we received were things like having that in-person contact, missing their 4-H members, and really just missing having conversations with other volunteers. To give a description about the program and the virtual conversations, what we did was that the specialists from the Southern Region collaborated to host a quarterly Zoom call that enabled about 80 volunteers to gather in a virtual environment to discuss the current context of the 4-H program, volunteer needs, and to share resources and knowledge. These sessions were structured to capture feedback and to be able to share ideas, and informal conversations followed each session prompt. The technology that was used to collaborate and capture feedback included a variety of sources, including Slido, Mentimeter, Google Jamboard, virtual bulletin boards such as Miro.com and ConceptBoard.com, as well as breakout rooms, Zoom polling, and virtual surveys. And you can see some examples on this slide. We were really happy with the attendance that we received at these different sessions. And over the 3 that we had, there were some 500 registered participants. And they came from a variety of states, ranging from 15 states at the first session in May 2020, 14 at the July 2020 session, and then 13 states registered in January 2021. The last session actually had the most registered participants with 200, and we have attendance data to show where everybody came from in all of their various states each time. When you look at the data that will be provided after the recording, you can click on the link and hone in to see a much more detailed view of our attendance and where they came from.
So some of the challenges and the resource needs identified by volunteers over the course of the program, we allowed volunteers to let us know what the challenges that they were facing when it came to these virtual spaces and with their programs during the pandemic. We noticed that during the beginning of the sessions, most of the needs centered on ideas for meetings. Those moved on to ideas for engaging youth virtually, and then what technology tools could be used for virtual engagement. As we moved closer into the recruitment phase of our program, volunteers discussed or asked for more educational requests around recruitment. One of the things that stayed consistent throughout the sessions was that communication at the program level and within their clubs as well. So how to increase communication between members as well as parents. Being in a pandemic, we're not face-to-face, so that can be a little difficult. And so some interesting things that we also saw, the need for networking started to pop up later in the session. So as we had progressed throughout 3 sessions, now all of a sudden there was a need for networking. At least it seemed that there was an interest, and then also where we're just trying to where we're challenged in keeping a hold of those networks. And then also we started to see volunteers just wanting to talk about anything, wanting to have that connection with other volunteers within programs throughout the region or throughout the nation. So that educational request of just anything and being engaged in these virtual calls was also identified. So some other relevant findings. As the sessions progressed, one thing that we did notice is that our volunteers became more comfortable sharing openly the challenges that they were facing, as well as the successes. So a lot of the informal conversation became a lot more dynamic. We also noticed that volunteers overwhelmingly enjoyed the conversations, and 100% had said that they would participate again. They also enjoyed the idea sharing, that positive atmosphere that was created during the event, and then the opportunity to engage with others virtually. And then overall, volunteers thought the sessions were a lot of fun, overwhelmingly fun, informative, and they enjoyed being part of a national conversation about 4-H volunteerism. So some of the future plans we have for these sessions, so we asked our volunteers what topics that they would like to discuss. And so our April 27th topic is on program communication strategies, because that was identified as a need. Next, we're going to talk about developing regional partnerships, so partnerships within our programs in our state on the regional and then the national level. And then on the last session of this year, we're going to touch on innovative ideas for clubs. We would love to have you join us. We do have the link on a screen, so any 4-H professional and volunteer is welcome to join. Share what's going on in their program, various opportunities to share openly, but also with the use of the technology tools that we use throughout the call. So we welcome you to participate, see what it's all about. And that concludes our poster demonstration. So if you do have any questions about the program, we are willing to take your questions now. Thank you.